Hello, welcome to today's video diary for Finding My Way with Pi, Purpose, Intention, and Emotion. I am Pi, and today I need to speak about and share about a realization that I had that one of my classmates actually helped me come to. And my classmate does not realize that they did this. It was a comment that they made that helped me through some reflection understand what had been triggering me related to a comment that I've received often since I've fully embraced my story and saying it out loud. Before I go into this, I would like to acknowledge that this is yet another scenario where I am being courageously vulnerable. I am sharing my own experience and, perspectives that I absorbed as a child before I really even fully understood the world. And it's not meant to be offensive to anyone. My hope is that by sharing my truth and this realization that it is simply an invitation for you to be able to do that for yourself, should you need that in your life in any way, shape, or form. So, one of the things that I have been struggling with recently was, as I fully embraced and shared the full story of my life, I have shared how I had grown up in poverty in the wooded swamplands of northern Florida. And when I say this out loud to people over the last few months, the reaction that I get every time is the same. They look me up and down, assessingly, and say, "You don't look like you came from there." And I'd always get silent because I didn't know what to say. But inside, I felt I was feeling offensive and angered by those comments. A little bit like, what, you don't believe me? But then also, like, well, what the hell do people look like who come from there? Like, what are you judging? And it was like I had this mental block. I couldn't quite get there or see it. But my classmate, who also grew up in northern Florida, jokingly said, in a non-offensive way, which I think invited me to be able to see this perspective, he said, yeah, my wife would say people from the tiny kind of like backwoods towns in Florida that they have a look. This just crashed over my head like a ton of bricks. Oh my gosh, they're right. And they did. The people who lived along that dirt road where I grew up, there was a look, and I had it too. I was surrounded by it. I was it. Dirty clothes, depending on your age, maybe some rotting teeth, weathered, tanned skin, body odor, sunken eyes from drugs or alcohol or stress. We all looked like we lived hard, and we did. It was hard. It is hard, probably, for anyone still there. I, on the other hand, now can understand that I look polished and privileged. And I am now, but I wasn't always. And I worked so hard to pull myself out of just the stigma of poverty and to pull myself out of that cycle. I never wanted to live like that again, where it was unsafe and shameful and abusive, hard, depressing, and stressful. Yet, at the same time, I learned what it was like to live with the earth. I was outside all the time. Nature was my home and my playground. And I learned how to respect it and to work with it. Learned how to coexist, to grow food for ourselves. I wasn't separate from it. And I look around today and I see so many people separate from it and maybe have never even experienced. In fact, there's even a thing called nature deficit disorder, that it truly hurts our human well-being to be so disconnected from nature. And I did not have that growing up, and I'm so thankful. I also learned how to work hard. We learned how to take care of each other. And you know what? I know what it feels like to be that dirty little girl who still feels like I'm somebody inside, despite what I look like, or my surroundings, or my circumstances. So, here's what I realized, that when people say, I don't look like I came from there, it triggers me because it reminds me how people who came from there or who are there, it reminds me how they're looked down upon and judged as lesser. And I feel the indignity and the unfairness of that. It reminds me that that was the reason why I hid my roots and was silent about them. I didn't openly share my full story since I moved away from home, so that I wouldn't be judged or seen as other or lesser, so that it didn't get in the way of opportunities for me. And that I have molded myself into an image of what is most accepted and respected by society, just so that I had a fighting chance. I understand it, and it saddens me at the same time. I don't regret what I've been able to accomplish, but I'm not super proud of pretending to be something I wasn't by omission of my early beginnings, but I wasn't ready to own it before because I had not healed from some of the traumas that in my mind I associate with it. I was a child. I have since uncovered this and spoken it and accepted and embraced it. And I do see how it's part of my story. And now I can let go of my trigger. So now, my reaction to people when they say to me, you don't look like you came from there, instead of feeling angry, I'm simply going to say, I know, right? It's a powerful journey. If this girl from the dirty swamps in Florida can realize her dreams, anyone can. Thanks for being with me on this journey. I'm so glad you're here. I hope it helps you too. See you tomorrow.